What up? What up? What up, good people? Big Foe, Big IV here, coming to you live. It's gonna be a short, quick live. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be on here too long, but like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you feeling the content, keep tapping in with me. But I came by here today to talk about, you know, I'm sure you heard the news about, the former Southside Crip Keefe D, who is Orlando Anderson's uncle. And if you don't know who Anderson is, that's the person who Death Row and Tupac jumped at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas in 1996. That was supposedly the killer who came back and shot Tupac um, um, later that night. One thing I want to say is I am so tired of hearing about Tupac and Biggie in terms of their death. If you're actually familiar with Greg Kading and murder rap and his whole theory about everything that went down with the death of Biggie and Tupac, it's not even a theory. He basically solved it. You can't say these type of things in there and they not be true without lawsuits, and you can't just put out these type of accusations and not, if it's not true, people will come after you. And since he put out this information, no one said anything. It's been quiet. But basically, for those of you that don't know, the original detective was a guy by the name of Russell Poole, and he had his theories or whatever. But we're gonna skip past him. Kading got on the case at one point, and he was assigned to solve the murder of Notorious B.I.G. And then the process of doing that, he winds up solving the murder of Notorious B.I.G. as well as the murder of Tupac Shakur. And the reason they were able to do that is through Keefe D, who, I think he was selling some PCP or something, high, large quantities of PCP, and he was arrested and looking at a lot of time, a lengthy sentence, maybe 25, 30 years or so in prison. And he got to singing, he got to talking uh, to get out of that. And I guess he got some type of immunity or whatever, but uh, they found out that it was someone tied to Suge's gang that had something to do with Biggie's murder, a guy named Poochie or whatever. But in the midst of that, in talking to Keefe D, Keefe D alleges that, and now mind you, he said this, and there's been no consequences from Kading, I mean, having to do with Kading or Keefe D from P Diddy, but he alleges that he was paid, or supposed to be paid somewhere around a half a million or a million. You know, excuse me for this. I didn't get, like, I know the story, but I didn't do research right before this. I'm just going off the top. Somewhere between a half a million, but I believe it was $1 million to kill Tupac. And I'm wondering, does it even count? Because it didn't go down like that. He apparently agreed to it, but what happened that night was they just happened to run into Orlando Anderson, and they were in Vegas, and then the beating took place, and it was more like retaliation. So yeah, but they got Puffy smack dab in the middle of that, and this was proven. And since Murder Rap came out and Keefe D was exposed by Kading, there's Officer Greg Kading. There, he's done a lot of interviews talking about the situation, who was in the car, what happened, all the events that led up to that. And they were saying in the past year that he might be held responsible for it. But anyway, there was a raid in Henderson, Nevada, which is, I guess, is a section of Las Vegas where he lives now. He doesn't live in Compton or LA anymore. He lives in Vegas. So they raided out there, and as far as I understand, there were no arrests. They made people come out with their hands up. There were no arrests. Nothing was found, but they were looking for um, documents, papers, computers, files, and things of that nature. This is what they were allegedly searching for in the raid that they conducted yesterday at his home in Vegas. Uh, I don't know what's supposed to come of this, or if they're trying to put pressure on him or intimidate somebody or charge Puffy. But it's bittersweet for me because I'm so tired. I don't want to hear about Pac and Biggie no more unless we talking about the great music that they made and what they contributed to hip hop when they was here on this earth and posthumously or whatever since they passed on. I'm so tired of hearing about this death, especially when it was already solved. This has been solved in my book, and it should be in everyone's book. The facts are there and the evidence has been presented. We're approaching, quickly approaching, because we're, moving in on August now, 2023. We're approaching the 30-year anniversary of the both of these high-profile deaths in the world, and it's still fresh in people's mind. It's constantly talked about. There are channels solely dedicated to Tupac and Biggie and their deaths and what all went on in their life, and you barely ever get new. Sometimes you do get new information, and sometimes it's not even believable because it's a cash grab. It's clearly a cash grab whenever you speak on Tupac and Biggie and excuse me, and their deaths and whatever happened in their lives. It's a cash grab. So um, I get it. We're gonna be hearing about this, but what are they expecting to find some 26, 27 years later? No one's gonna have any. We know the murder weapon was found a long time ago. The weapon that killed Tupac, that was some time ago. What are they raiding for? What are you looking for? The man admitted this himself. He fingered who um brokered the deal, which was another OG gangster from Harlem, New York, that's since passed on, named Von Zip, who Keefe D also attempted to wear a wire and get information out of. He flew on a plane to New York with the detectives in order to catch Von Zip on a wire, but he was too smart for that. It didn't work out. So everyone so many people connected to this thing are in jail or no longer living. I don't know what is there. I think that was for show, or is something else that they're trying to put pressure on him for. Could they be trying to charge Puffy and they want him to testify, so they came to try to get something on him? Who knows what it is, but this case has been solved. And like I said, I am so tired of hearing about the deaths of these two legendary artists. I rather just focus on the music, but it was shocking to me to hear that there was actually a raid conducted. But anyway, man, I'm not here for a long live. I just wanted to tap in and see what y'all thought about that. Jump in the comments, like, share, and subscribe to for the Real Only channel. Tap in with me, Big Foe, uh, Big IV, named by the people for the people. Follow me on Instagram, lowercase IVDAREALONLY on Instagram, and is lowercase IV the Real Only at gmail.com. Stay tapped in with me. Salute.